Welcome to Mailbox Monday for May 6th and Showcase Sunday for May 5th. I am doing this video again because for some reason sometimes YouTube just drops the connection, or my computer does. Something drops the connection. Anyways, it's frustrating. So, I'm doing this Saturday night, so happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day. I got this book 6 weeks. 3 of them were for review. The first is an ebook, which you can see below if you are watching this on my blog, called The Kingdom of Bitter Tears, which is a fantasy novel, young adult fantasy novel that comes out in October. I got this through netgalley.com to review. The next one I got for review is The Rhythmatist by Brandon Sanderson. This is the first book in the Rhythmatist series, and I got this from Tor. Tor sent it along. I actually have already read this and reviewed this on my blog. I got an advanced reading copy through Amazon Vine, and it was a good book. It started a little bit slow, but by the end I was really into the story. So the beginning was kind of like, this is a drag, and then as you get to the end, lots of cool things are happening, and they're fighting these chalklings and all this kind of stuff. So I was excited to get a finished copy of it. I'm definitely going to keep it around, either to read later, to read with my son, or something like that. The next one I got for review was Yellow Cake by Margot Lanigan. This is a collection of short stories by her, and it releases, I think, next week, or the week after. It releases in May. I read The Brides of Roebuck Island by Margot Lanigan and really loved it, so I was excited to read another book by her. I already read this, and the stories in here are kind of hit or miss. Some are spectacular, some aren't as spectacular. It's being marketed as young adult. There is one story in here that was pretty violent, and there was a lot of sexual abuse in it, and so I'm not quite sure if it's really appropriate for young adult, but it was an interesting collection of stories. I also have her book Red Spikes to read, which is another collection of her short stories, but have not read it yet, so I can't really compare this to her previous collections, which are Black Juice, Red Spikes, and there's a white one in there too. Anyways, it was an interesting collection. She's a neat writer, and she's very creative. Some of the stories are a little bit ambiguous, so it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on, and sometimes you're left with more questions at the end of the story than you are answers. But anyways, I enjoyed it. Alright, I swapped 2 books. The first is Thieftaker by D.B. Jackson, excuse me. This is a American Revolution historical fantasy. So I've never really read any fantasy set in that time period before, so this will be a first for me. The first thing that grabbed my attention with this book is this beautiful cover. It's just a really cool cover, and I liked it. And I want to know more about those characters, like right now, just from looking at the cover. So this should be a fun read. The second book I swapped is Boy Meets Boy by David Levithan. I've read a couple books by David Levithan and really enjoyed them, and so I'm excited to read this one. It's a cute little book, and so I swapped this through paperback swap, and it should be a good read. I got a book from the library, and the book I got is Summerkin by Sarah Prenius. Last year I reviewed Winterling. I got our advanced reading copy early for review and loved it. And so when I heard Summerkin was coming out, I was really excited. And this is a young adult fantasy book, and it was really, really well done. Well, Winterling was really, really well done. So I'm excited to see where the story goes in Summerkin. And I believe this is the final book. It's a duology. So, and then I did buy one book at Free Comic Book Day today at the Source, and that is Rust by Royden Leffis. And this is the first Rust collection, Visitor in the Field. I've been wanting to read this for a while. It's appropriate for a lot of different ages, and it's about soldiers and war and a robot and a boy with a jetpack, and that's pretty much all I know about it. I've heard great things about it, and I'm excited to read it. So that's what I got, and I went through it a lot faster this time because it's the second time through. I hope you guys all got some great books, and you have a great week of reading ahead of you. We're hoping for no more snow in Minnesota. Seriously, southern Minnesota got like 12 inches of snow last week, and it is May. That's not right. So, enough with the snow. Other than that, that's all I have to say. Have a good week. Talk to you next week.